What is up, YouTube?
Welcome to the Mud Club.
Yes, welcome. We're super excited to have a wonderful guest here today. His name is Justin Tuminowski. He is one of the leaders in SUBTO. We really look up to him. And I'm really excited to have him come on and share his journey of how he's become or how he has gotten where he is now and how he's built such a great community and become such a great leader. So we're going to bring him on and let him introduce himself. Here we go. Hi, Justin.
What's up? And hey, wow, so sweet. Thank you. So good. Yes, well, thanks for having me, you guys. And obviously, we said backstage, we spoke, probably a year or so now. I think you guys had like
longer.
I think there was a bankruptcy issue you guys maybe went through.
Yes, yeah. I remember you being known as the bankruptcy person.
And we're still in that department. But yes, no, it's good to like full circle, seeing you guys talked about all the time, hearing you talked about, knowing about the baby. And it's funny that you get to really, it's not even social media, it's the community that we get to watch each other's lives. And you hear bits and pieces. I go, I know them. I don't know them, but I know them. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense, right? So it is pretty cool in this community that you go, like, we've spoken, and I've a lot more than other folks. Sometimes we speak, you got to make you 50 friends and whatever, and like sometimes you just don't connect again. But thank you for reaching out, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, so I'm Justin Tuminowski out of New England, and sometimes I'm learning that I have to say where New England is because a lot of folks are like, might as well be in India. So put it this way, it's in like the Boston market, right? So Boston is New England. You got Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and a bunch of other states. So we oversee, I guess, technically inside of SUBTO, and our community is 6 states. They're all smaller, but there's a lot of us, and we pride ourselves in being pretty tight knit. So, I've been in the regional for, I don't know, maybe a little over a year now. Always never really wanted to be in that side of things. Always just kind of did the same thing, just showed up, offered a hand. And one day, my predecessor, Suzanne Sharkey, was like, hey, come on in. And so, yeah, trying to grow our community, trying to treat that as such where, we're just staying in touch with individuals. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think at some point we're going to end up having a CRM in it. I have a CRM with all of our SUBTO students. I mean, come on, we have CRMs for our business. Yeah. So now it's fast forward, it's going down into just creating that community, blending it with the rest of the world and the rest of the community outside of SUBTO is like the rest of the states, and just love every minute of it. And I couldn't ask for, it's like herding sheep, herding cats, but I couldn't have it any other way. And I love it so much. And my wife just creeped into the office.
I wanted to watch it live.
You're like,
so one of the front row seats, man. That's the exclusive interview right there.
Right, that's the best spot.
I was gonna put it on YouTube, but then I was like, I might as well just go downstairs and watch it.
I don't know if we can hear her.
Hey,
cool.
I love that.
So yeah, SUBTO community in New England, love it. And I don't know. And then if you want to get into my background for a quick 3 seconds, if you care to, just blue collar since I was a kid. I as early as I can remember using power tools. I remember almost chopping my finger off with a hatchet, all right, in the garage, unattended, to like 7, and just tinkering with tools with my grandfather, and just learned job sites, learned how to work, got yelled at to never work with your hands and go to college and do the right thing. Don't become me. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I'll be you, but a better version, and I'll get a better trade. So I became an electrician. And I just figured, like, I go, that's probably a smart one to do, and probably a good one that make a good living, probably cleaner. And so did the electrical thing, got my license, opened a business, started a business. And then the next thing you know, you start to learn, right? You start to flex your muscles and your brain muscle. And you start to go like, there's got to be an easier way. I'm building all these houses and I'm working on all these big renovations in these beautiful towns. Or these guys, what does this guy do? Oh, he has a startup. Oh, what does this guy do? Oh, he owns a bunch of apartment buildings. Oh, I got to go change a light switch. True story. at this girl's town, and he's like, "Oh," I go up and like, "Oh, this is a cool apartment." Like, "Oh, cool." It was in the next town from me, really nice town, and she's like, "Oh, my father owns the building or the buildings or something." Word she used. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Like he owns this town." I was like, "Oh, lucky you, you're rich." SOB. And no, she's like, "No, my father owns the whole complex." There was probably 15 to 30 multi-family buildings.
Wow.
And my mouth hit the floor and I couldn't fathom that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how to
And
wrap your head around owning something like that.
I'm like, yeah, you never really, I guess it never really clicked with me that there are people that own those. Like, sure, there's corporations and whatnot, but I guess now that we know, right?
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing some cool things, probably looking for money and raising capital for other apartment buildings and all the deals you're doing.
Always.
And I would say that at the same time, that's a mom and pop that we'd probably be going after right now. And I should probably actually look them up, see who owns that thing.
Honestly, they might be tired of owning it and they might be ready to sell at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a trip. So that really sparked the real estate stuff going. There's got to be an easier way. We're trading dollars for hours. And there's got to be another way to do this. So we started, I think there was the Bigger Pockets by now. And what up, Andrew? And, the Bigger Pockets thing came in, read some books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all that stuff. And subsequently led into, why don't we renovate our own multifamilies? Let's fix and flip. Let's earn some extra income, take the fix and flip money, go buy the 2 families. We'll renovate those, do the Burr method, right? Mm-hmm. And then we started acquiring doors that way. So capital and doors. And little by little, super grassroots. Wouldn't go higher than a 2 unit. But everything we touched, we renovated was top to bottom, in and out. We can say that this is a nice product, and the products ended up being like every one of them was like a little $500,000.
Nice.
And I still own them. A couple of them I had to give away back to my partner, my electrical business that we split. But I ended up keeping some and then still building off of those. So yeah, that's the story. Just blue collar that I'd like to think sort of made it out, but I still love that blue collar. Still wear it. I still tend to try to tap into it, but Pace Morby has taught me that I try not to let him see me do it either. So I don't put on the tools that much unless it's for like friends and family, or my own little thing. So yeah, that's my story, guys.
I love that, man. It's so cool looking back and seeing our story, right? Just knowing where we've come from, but also like getting to know everybody more personally. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the podcast that we do, is because I always find something new about the people that we're speaking with, right? Even if it's people that we've known for a long time, there's always something that's just totally different. Everybody has their own unique individual story, and yours is definitely, I haven't heard one that specific, right? You came across somebody that had an entire complex, and that's what really sparked the interest for you. Where I've had kind of the generalization story I've heard, right, is like, I was just tired of being broke or not having the money or the freedom to do what I want. That's kind of like the general story that I hear. So I love that hearing yours is a lot more different than that.
Oh, bro, broke. We still go broke when we end up buying all these houses and all these deals, right? Like,
absolutely.
We still venture in a lot, but there's a section of this that does not get talked about. And for the first time in my life, I was asked about it, and like SUBTO asked about it, and I was super vulnerable. And yeah, like I would say like I will outwork anybody that I meet probably. And I say Pace Morby is one of the people that I give him a run for his money, but I can outwork just about anybody in my life, not him. And there's a certain damage and a certain rock star, and we call it a superpower, right? Mm-hmm. Where some of us who come from some, whether you're, and I don't want to talk, I'm not talking about trauma and stuff like but you can use your past and the episodes of being broke, whether it was the divorce or whatever hardships you come from, those are superpowers.
Absolutely.
And yeah, there's a whole bunch of that. And I definitely attribute a lot of this to that 1000%. If I came from a different background, I would not be where I am. I know for a fact. So yeah, it's a trip to think about that. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't want to go too far down the line, but I went to school with a lot of kids that were, you would open their closet. I'd go over there, stay over their house, because it was like so fun to stay over like better people's, like better living conditions and all that, like someone else's house. Do a sleepover, and you go in their closet and there's tags still on all the clothes. And I go back like a month or two later, and then the still tags are all still there. I'm like, bro, what's up with this? Like, what are we doing here? Are we returning these? Are these going? What's going on? You stole these? And it's just like privilege. And what I found out is they didn't work hard. They got into some bad stuff, and there was a lot of that same repetitive behavior where you didn't have to go get a job at 13. You didn't have to go, if you didn't have the money, you weren't getting the candy at the store, or get an extra soda or whatever it is, an ice cream, whatever. There was no extra. So, not to go super deep, that's where I think a lot of the superpower comes from, and I know that's where my work ethic comes from. And to all those who know what I'm talking about, like, it's dynamite.
Yeah, I love that you shared that, because like it's so easy for people to like get stuck in the moment and be so upset about the things that they're going through, and turn it into like a pity me, like become the victim type of situation. But it's really like when you hit those rock bottom moments, or when you're at your lowest, where you really build your character and your resilience and being able to withstand hard times. Because like if everything was easy, then everybody would just be rich and everything there would be no problems in the world,
Yeah,
So,
it is.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the thing that makes you different is the mindset and being able to see the positive and the things that you go through. And I think that's really important and sets you apart when you are being an entrepreneur and going through this journey, because it is a lot of ups and downs. And if you're not able to see the good in the things that you're going through, and you see a loss as a loss and you completely lose it because of it, then you're not gonna make it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's that negative energy that creeps in your brain. And like Pace talks about the lizard, right? And so the lizard might be telling you it's a bunch of things, right? But yeah, you're absolutely right. You hit it on the head. And we had a gentleman today who came in, and he wanted equity in the business, coming in as like a lead manager.
Mhm.
And I asked the team just recently, and a couple of the guys might be listening right now. I'm like, so what did we do wrong? Right? What did we do wrong? We obviously failed at expectations, even though we're like super vigilant on it. And at the same time, it's like, you learn from that. It's like, what did we do wrong? What did I fail at? And I have some failure in that. And one of my operator, we all take blame, but at the same time, you can go, he's an ass. He's a jerk. He's an idiot. No, it's like, what did we do wrong? Like, we failed that person. Although they're not a good fit, I'm cool with it. Fine. So yeah, learning that, right?
Mhm.
Accountability is probably one of the biggest things too. When you're accountable, you can do anything, because you just go like, all right, I got to move on. I have to keep going. We're going to keep figuring this out, or whatever it is. Right. Oops. Sorry. Yeah.
I love that, because it basically, what you're saying, right, is by being accountable, you're going to be able to grow a lot faster, right? The comparison is somebody that's not being accountable, and kind of like you're the examples you were saying, like, yeah, it's them. They're the reason, like, what were they thinking, right? They're going to go through kind of like the same end thought process. They're going to figure it out eventually, but it's going to take a lot longer to get there, because they're not holding themselves accountable. And it's not going to be until a moment like what she was talking about, where you kind of hit that brick wall and you're like, okay, like, now what do I do? Right? I need some help from somebody, either somebody here in person, or God, or, whatever you believe in, right? And somebody's got to help you get to that next point if you're not holding yourself accountable. And eventually you're going to have to.
Yeah. Or you'll just stay where you are. You'll just stay stagnant, and you'll stay at that. You'll max at your ceiling, and you won't have any more growth. And what's the saying? It's like your wage won't outpace your wages.
Pace says it all the
Yeah,
time.
it's
Cody.
your revenue, your total revenue or total profit will never outpace your personal growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sounded right. Yeah.
It's so good. And like, Pace has told me personally, like, stories of his personal friends that same thing. He's like, guess what? The story went on, and he's like, guess what? And it was that exact moment. And like, we're talking about successful people, like, but that's we're all in the same buckets. It's just a different, almost like a different tax bracket, right? It's like you're just in a different category, different step, all the same stuff. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest lessons, the biggest things for growth. And, I came out of a business relationship that we split, and it was like my best friend, childhood best friend. We did everything together. We got first job to electrical licenses to everything. I brought that dude with me everywhere I went. Like, I'm getting an electrical license. You want to go get one? He's like, okay, I'm going to stop cutting lawns. Got an electrical license. And like, super smart, super successful in electrical. And he's, I sold my part of the business to him. But one of the things you come from that is like, even when 4 or 5 years ago, when that was 5 years ago, I was accountable, but I was also not accountable. Maybe like I can see like the growth from that moment where I was feeling of blame, toss some things back and forth, to now it's like, oh, like you're a different person, you're a different human. And that's, you have to be there, but it doesn't happen overnight. That's the other thing. It doesn't happen overnight. So.
Man, I love that.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew always coming in.
I know he's always there, and I don't know if you noticed, but you got 2 different super fans, both named Andrew. You got an Andrew Murray in here as well.
Oh, Andrew Murray's the man.
There you go.
There he is. There's the operator. I saw CJ in here too.
Yep. CJ's there.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's really the beginning, and that's where we are now. Is if you care to know, it's like we're an acquisition business still. So really, it was, direct to agent, direct to seller. We're direct to seller, but then we ended up, Andrew came in, did the direct to agent side of it. And we're just doing the deals. We're finding our own deals, sourcing them, buying what we want, buying other stuff, of course, out there, and selling some, wrapping a lot of different things. And so we do almost every aspect of the business. I think the only thing I haven't done is a Morby method, maybe. Mm-hmm. And other than that, but in some way, shape, or form, it's probably not called the Morby method the way I did it. It was just but yes, like, so we do everything. I would call us a full service business. And I like that. I like having our hands in everything.
Yeah, it's definitely the best way to look at it, right? Because it's kind of the same as when you're talking with the sellers or agents, whoever you're talking with, right? You don't just have the one option, especially with everything that we've all learned, right? We have multiple different solutions to whatever their problem is, right? Whether it's a foreclosure or they just want to get the biggest bang for their buck, right? We have a bunch of different things. And even with those specific scenarios, there's still multiple options that could fit. It's just like, what's the best fit for the hand there. So we talked a little bit about kind of how you got into that real estate realm and your growth of the mindset and kind of where your current mindset is. What are some of the things that you're focused on currently, right? Obviously the acquisitions business, like what is the goal? Like where are you trying to take that to?
To the moon, baby. And that's where we're going. No joke though. Like actually it's funny. Our recent, like we've rebranded a few times, but the more community and more like homies I bring in with us is like, we have to reformulate, restructure in a way. And so it's, to the moon is like, we're an astronaut theme now, right now. Mm-hmm. Just somehow anyway, but anyway, like it doesn't matter. So yeah, where we're going is I want my friends and family eating really, 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 really well. Yeah, I could go out and do my thing and go, I have different business partners. I have local business stuff going on here in New England. Mm-hmm. A partner I've done plenty of fix and flips with and stuff on my own. My plumber, he's in SUBTO, Jeremy Stanley. We're doing some deals together. But then I have, the teammates, my guys in the other SUBTO in the business, the day-to-day acquisition. And my wife, of course, she's waving her hands. You're like a default. And so we're doing, I think the plan is to I want everyone to have assets. I want everyone to have doors. I want a lot of income for everybody. And at the same time, I'm putting my mask on. I'm putting my life preserver on, but because we have to do those things. But at the same time, it's like, all right, cool. Like here, you're like, let's get you a deal. Let's buy a company deal. Let's buy a house that's the company owns, like all of us own together. So you get to start getting some love in the deals. And so that's really the goal where we're at now. We're, shooting for, $1.5 million, 2 million in just like sales and between wholesale and fees and wraps and all the stuff, to owning some additional assets. We own small stuff, but locally, like that's the business. And then locally I have my own little thing going on right now where, again, I'm trying to do some tiny home developments. We just bought a farmhouse with 4 acres and it's from the 1700s. Word up. All right. 1700s.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be an interesting story right there. You could do a whole little podcast series just on that, right? I'm sure that'll be, I'm intrigued, right? I think that'll be really cool. But before we jump into that, I just want to say I'm noticing a very like kind of common theme with some of the stuff you've been saying so far. And the example, right, with your electrician buddy, right? You mentioned that you pretty much brought him along everywhere, right? Anything that you were doing, you wanted him to be a part of that, right? And I'm noticing the same thing with your team now, right? You want everyone to come along with you and kind of join the ride. So I think that's kind of a testament to you as a person, but not just as a person, but as a leader, right, in the space. And that's probably why you're doing so well and why everyone keeps hearing your name in the SUBTO communities, because it's that same thing that's popping up as well. So I noticed that, and I thought, it'd be cool to hear. I know KJ loves hearing the words. So
no, thank you. And you know what? I'm not one of those folk. I actually don't recognize a lot of those little things, those nuances. I might say a bunch of things. My wife's really good at that too. Like picking up, like I'm always going a little the train's going a little too fast sometimes. And I don't always pick up a lot of the things like, oh yeah, that you can correlate those two. And like, that is pretty sweet. And yes, like, no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And yeah, it does ring true. I did have a reflection period at that time. And I said, damn, I brought that dude every job and everything we've done. I've actually, wow, I'm like, holy moly. So just a couple of years ago, it clicked with me. I'm like, all right, like, so you do think for yourself. You do go make the first step. I don't always have someone next to me going, hey, let's take the leap together. So sometimes self-reflection helped me solidify some confidence, right? Because we need confidence in this business. You need confidence to go out and do a podcast. You need to go confidence that you guys are sitting here doing it, putting yourselves out there and putting the SUBTO community. You guys are doing big things. You're doing, your complexes and raising private capital and all those great things. Right. So, and shout out guys, whoever's raising private capital, who's got some extra capital, let's dish it out. So, it takes confidence and it takes some of that, like, let's go.
I love that.
Yeah. But no, thank you.
Definitely, man. Yeah. I'm just trying I've started picking up on more of those things because I was kind of like you, right? I didn't notice that stuff. Usually she is the one that does. I think she gets it from her dad, because her dad, like any little like quirk or small thing that somebody has, he notices it and he'll like bring it up too. Like if
you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. Yeah. When he starts talking about it, it's pretty funny.
So I do it too.
She definitely picked that up from her.
So is it for all things, like, so if someone's like evil to just quirky, you guys can read them.
I can.
Yeah, definitely more her. I'm a baby reader at this point, right?
Oh yeah, you're an apprentice.
Right?
More like I can sense like if this person's aligned with us or not too.
Yeah. She's very good at that.
I get that.
It's funny because there's been multiple times where we'll be entertaining a new potential partnership / the JV situation, whatever it is, right? And she's like, yeah, that person doesn't align. I'm like, all right, I thought he was pretty cool, but you know what? She said, no, sorry, you're out, man.
Yeah.
So I just learned to listen at that point.
KJ the filter. That's it.
I told you. That's funny you said that.
Yeah. That's
so good. All right, we'll bring it back to where we were, right? That 1700s house. What is the plan with that? How far along are you? Can you talk about it, or is it too soon?
No. The funny thing is where we've come and where we are now. It's like we bought the deal, and I go, I don't even know what I'm doing with it.
Oh,
we
so
have
we
a
should
joke.
sell you our deals.
What's that?
I said we should sell you our deals.
Well, yeah, well, no, because then we have a running joke around here too. Like our friends, it's like we buy these houses and we just collect them. We don't rent them. We just collect them. We just pay the mortgages on them and just like chip away at them. But yeah, this one's again trying to play off. I love the other part of me where I know I get it. I was raised by a bunch of women, and I get like this like, man, I'll just say it's like decorating, right? Let's just call it what it is. I love architecture. I love unique stuff. I love doing unique. I love like creating. That's the other thing, creating. And I didn't really know that. I'm not that artistic, I think. But I would say like even like the t-shirt stuff that Pace always like, oh, I wear Justin stuff all the time. I don't know. I just enjoy it, right? I just like enjoy creating. And then I like giving it away and making people smile. So when it comes to these houses, the same thing is like, oh, I can take this and I can see like I can see the full vision. I can literally envision all the houses sitting there, the tiny homes, the whatever they're doing. I envision it all. And then even my wife goes, she's like, wait, hold on, time out. At the end, she'll go, you saw all this? You saw all this. I'm like, oh yeah, down to the whatever it was. And yeah, things change, right? You adapt actually and get better. But yeah, that's one of the things I actually probably have is another superpower, I'd say, where I can just kind of visualize and create in my brain. And people are like, oh, where's your calculators and all? They always for your materials and this and that. I'm just like, no, it's all right here. Like I got you right now. Like walk through the house, I can tell you what it cost. Sort of that type of stuff.
Have you ever taken the Clifton strength test?
Oh yeah.
Futuristic.
Yeah. I
was just about to say, I heard your wife back there. I was just about to say, I think you're probably pretty high in the futuristic and strategic category for sure.
Yeah. I gotta memorize those. I gotta memorize those ones that I have. But
I remember saying, "Oh my God, there's a word for it. It's called futuristic."
Yeah, it is. And I like reading the things you need to work on too on those Clifton strengths. My wife just did hers, super great. Like they told her that she aligned with like a Molly tenant. Really,
nice.
Rosie goes like, "You're a Molly tenant," and I had to look at it and go, "Oh, I guess yeah, that's right." So good, so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But to go to the 1700s, to recap that, we just bought it. We just toured it. It's actually in decent condition, believe it or not.
Wow.
I just did one that was from the 1800s. That was pretty rad. This one's a farmhouse, 4 acres, and a kind of like just as you're starting to get some lake region and just started to get into some foothills of some mountains, but really like no mountains in sight. But I'm going all day. This is like tourism, sort of like sleepy countryside, honeymoons, getaways,
Weddings.
I said that and like, yeah, I don't know, it's up in the air. We'll see. But at the same time, I'm reaching out to like group homes. Like, I don't know if that's a play. I just want to, I'll renovate the whole place, make it pretty dope. And we'll just say like, hey, find an operator and here, do you want this? So that's why we're like, let's just do something. We know this is a cool property. We're buying it under market value at a tremendous discount. It's got 4 acres. Maybe we don't have to do anything with the 4 acres for now. Cool. We'll play there later. Well, let's get this farmhouse fixed up, make it dope. We might cut into 3 units, 3 different apartments, and give it to an operator. Give it to someone. Say, hey, give us $10,000 a month. Do whatever you want with it. So
that'll be cool. I'm excited to hear how it turns out. Honestly,
bro, there's a cool thing, and gal. I'll show you guys, or I might make something on our story when I went there. And I had never seen it before. This is New England. I know a lot of New England old homes, and we've owned a bunch. He goes, look at this. He goes to the window, and there's, you ever seen a pocket door, right? A pocket door goes in the wall, comes out of the wall. No, these are window shutters inside. They're wood shutters in their pocket doors in the windows to cover the window. They're for Indian, so they don't shoot bows and arrows back in the day.
Wow.
That's so cool. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So they call them Indian shutters.
I love that.
Imagine that. Like, you have to like put your shutters up because the Indians are coming.
That's crazy.
What a different time, right? That's pretty cool.
That's a trip. So That's the 1700s house.
Yeah, they definitely don't have anything like that in Houston, at least not that I know of. I
Well, you
think
guys got some Native American, some war stories.
yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely.
no. So yeah, no, that's it. And we have a couple others we just bought. We just bought like 4 deals recently up here. Again, aside from all the other stuff that's going on in the business, but it more like we're gonna go renovate all these deals. And so that's another challenge. And just dividing that and compartmentalizing like that. I got that partner, that stuff going on, but I can't take away from the boys and I can't take away from the community. So we're dividing our time into all these little segments in these different businesses. I guess they're businesses or lifestyles.
Mhm.
And, that's just the way it is. People think it's crazy. I think it's pretty rad. And like, this is every day. Same thing. It's cool.
So I'm going to ask this question, then I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we'll kind of do closing whenever she's finished. Because I know we only told you 30 minutes, so.
I can yap for hours.
Okay, good.
We don't want to take up.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're respectful of your time.
All good.
So what is one thing that you think has really, truly helped you kind of manage all of those different aspects, those different businesses, essentially?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because we're doing 2, and man, it's a lot. I couldn't imagine doing more than 2.
There's a collaboration, right? And it comes down to collaboration. It comes down to community. My wife's a huge part. She's in the insurance business of 25, 23 years, 20 some odd years. And her exit it's hours, if not days. Like every day it's like she's just about had it. But again, growth, right? So we've seen her from don't ever bring your real estate stuff near me to like, get me out of this. I'm going into real estate with you, right? So that's a trip. We're like a virus, and we just take over everybody's lives.
In a good way. In a good
way. Yeah, we're not like the coronavirus. We're good. So I would say like Andrew Murray, for instance, right? And CJ, who was on here, and other people, and Ted Miller, all my partners, Jeremy, they make it so we can divide and conquer, right? And one of the most pivotal parts, and Pace brought Andrew Murray on Elephant Challenge the other day, and we're not in that community, but he wanted to talk about it. And really just to the point where like Andrew came in and went from direct to agent, like, let me run that part of your business. And I said, all right, cool. Like 90 days, bro. Like, I don't know Andrew that well. Like, you're kind of brand new. Like, but we'll just put an expectation in there. For 90 days, if it doesn't work out, cool. Like, catch you later. Came in, kind of conquered, and then just was like, all right, what's next? I'm coming in as like your integrator. I can see what the hell's going on here. I can see what you guys need. I can do this. And we're like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay, cool. Like, and we were doing well, but now it's like, it's legitimized, so that's super cool to have that ability too, where now the plan and the vision, just so you guys know, and I can say this out loud, and again, it's with confidence, because at some point I was like it's sort of weird, and I do still feel a little bit weird that like I'm not in the day-to-day every day, but the whole thing is like, all right, cool. We were all in December, went to Naples, Florida. We own a house there, a big house in Naples. So the whole team went. There was like 5 or 6 of us. All the guys got in the same roof. It was like the real world. And we like went out to dinner, hung out, did our thing for 3, 4, 5 days. But at the same time, we masterminded. We planned for the 24. We're all chomping at the bit. And they said, like, we kind of solidified everything. Like, all right, we're gonna get behind you, like, because Ted and I were co-leaders. So I ended up, he's like, we're going to go like, Justin, you're going to lead this organization in a way. And then we're going to have the different departments and different heads and different people. And it's been, I think, really well. It's, there's growing pains, but it's gone super well to the point where now I get to go out. I can go hang out with you guys. We go raise private capital. We go get other deals. We go out and hunt and bring the kill back home. And let them process it and let me go back out. And it's not always like that, but in retrospect, like that's the conversation. That's what we're doing, because, we got to go on social media. We got to do the things, got to go do all the things we need to do. And if that's not their strong suit, Perfect. I got you. So, and we can't do it all alone. So I can't be on doing social media and this and that in my office and without a company behind me, without the boys doing their thing. So we're all accountable to each other. If we slip up, you get slapped and you get told. And for real, like we had some of those today. And that's okay. If I'm slipping, tell me. And that's the coolest thing is accountability with all. It slips back to what we talked about earlier, but that's how I am able to do a lot of different things, co-leading, all of it. It's not all pretty, but what else are we going to go do?
Yeah.
You know?
Beautiful answer.
That was a good answer. I
It's
love
so long. Let's chopping that one up.
that.
Hey, we're just doing this to get more content. We're making friendships. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. We don't want to have it to where it's just like a super formal podcast. Honestly, that's just not us. Like we like to keep it light. We like to have fun, but we still get our stuff done, and we want to make sure that we're creating relationships because that's what it's all about.
And that's the personality you guys have, and that's obviously you can easily tell that. So kudos to you. And then like the other thing is like, yeah, don't be stuffy, and you got to go out and do the things. You put your daughter to bed, and you're like, all right, cool. Other people would go, oh, I can't wait to go put Netflix on, and maybe that's after this, right? I'll go with my wife and Netflix and chill with her. And but like you're gonna go. I'm gonna do one more thing, and you're gonna go do that extra thing. It's gonna catapult you. Then it's gonna give you content for the next whatever. You can probably use stuff like this for a month, but like that one little thing extra you did. And then you just get to like compound and you just keep showing up. But most people would just give up. So, good for you.
Sounds like you read the one thing.
I got the book. I don't think I read the whole thing.
he got the cliff notes. That's what it was.
I have to start doing that. But I watched, was it Ed Milet? That's Ed Milet's. Yeah. I mean, I watched his speech. Yeah, he's powerful, but that's it. That's the one takeaway. I'm good. One more, show up, one more thing, do one more thing, one more rep, one more call, one more. That's it. Yeah.
Hey, you might as well have wrote the book. That's pretty much what it talks
about.
That's
all you need to do. Just read the title. But yes, so kudos to you guys.
Oh,
do you have anything you want to ask? I don't want to take the whole floor.
No, you're good. I do love your creativity. I've seen it like when people post the shirts you've made. And I honestly, when we get off of this, I need your creativity. I'm trying to create one for Houston, and I created one, but I'm like, I need the Justin twist on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty easy. I like UFOs and weird stuff, but no, it's like the go-to. But no, pick a theme. Like I think these like the Kalispell and like some of our other New England community, like there was a girl, her and her husband Courtney and Dean, they had a print shop, so they would help. Like I actually, some of them I gave her ideas and stuff, and then we collaborated. I'm like, no, I don't like that. Yes, I like that, but I don't know, pick a theme, like retro shirt or something, and then just you guys need a mascot. You need a logo.
I was gonna do like an astronaut because we're in Houston.
For Houston,
that makes sense. But you know what? You want Pace to really like it? The secrets, you got to throw a little alien on there, or throw like Pace alien. And you got to like put that somewhere in there. And then like you guys got to run with it and then have everyone get behind it. Yeah. I think for a while, like some people were like, wait, you could do that? You can like make our own logos? I thought we weren't allowed. I'm like, come on. We're promoting this business for them. So that was for like early on. A lot of people were just shocked that like I guess they thought they couldn't do it. Limited belief.
Yeah.
But yeah, make it your own. I love that.
Yeah. You inspired me. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, we need our own shirts for Houston.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'll have to show you when we get off.
And funny thing is, my brother and his fiance, they actually both work at her parents' print shop. So we got the plug for the print shop.
Dude, so good. And like you guys, I mean, I was told like don't monetize anything, and I don't, but it doesn't matter. Like you guys can, you can have your community members like, hey guys, we're doing it for cost. It's $15 a shirt, whatever it is, and 100% do it. And it's fun, right? And people start wearing the swag, and you go to these community events and we're all wearing the same hoodies and whatnot. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard a few things where people go like, oh, everyone's stuck up. No one likes everyone's minding their own business. Everyone doesn't want to change it. Be the one to change it. Go lighten the jerk up, toss a t-shirt. There's a couple of dudes inside of our community that have definitely made me like, I'm like, hey, how are you? Like they're staples in the community and they won't say much, but you know what I do? Like after I see them 2-3 times and I throw a t-shirt in their face and I'm like purposely taking one from like someone I know who deserves one. And I'm like, I'm going to outshine this mother effer with some kindness right now. I'm going to make this dude smile. And I just wanted in my mind in particular, like I just went the other day, I'm like, throw a t-shirt and like, what up, dog? I'm like, what up, dog? And like, finally, I'm like, he texted me like, I don't know, a week later. I'm like,
got him.
I want him over. Like, yeah, I'm going to, whatever vibe you got, man, like whatever thing you got cooking, I'm going to break that shit with some free swag.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, because it is, it's, we all get a little territorial and people are sick of hearing someone's name and all that. I get it, but yeah, have fun with
it. Just for everyone to know, a little behind the scenes, before we hopped on here, he already offered us free swag. So that he must have got a funny read off of us to offer that right away. So
yeah.
He's like, oh, we got to fix this.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I like that you picked out the pin. So make sure you send me that address. I'll get that in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, it's 123 Main Street.
Well, someone's getting the postman's going to be getting some swag. So cool.
Yeah. Okay. I guess last thing, I would love to hear more about like how you're leading the community in the area and ways that you're bringing people together and helping others, just because I know you are one of the leaders up there, and I just love to hear how other people are doing it as well, especially because you're doing it so well.
I mean, it is a community effort, right? So I didn't start many of the things. I mean, we all contribute, right? We put our 2 cents into a lot of these things. I think it's really just a collaboration a little bit. You got to be tight knit. So like one of the things I naturally will do is we open our doors. Like, and I guess I learned those things from Pace too, or like Pace essentially gives us permission to do a lot of the things in life. I don't know about you guys, but like in my life, I've had different people that I've met that are like successful, and I've just picked little things from them. And that's all anyone should be doing, even in like mentorships. And I just pick them, I put it in my pocket, and I keep going. And one of those things was like, yeah, opening our doors, going, why don't we open our doors? We have a beautiful house. We have a cul-de-sac neighborhood. We can like shut the street down. So like, that's one of the things we did like a couple of years ago. I wasn't in regional. I would just naturally came in, and I think naturally come in and try to lead, because if no one's going in a direction, I can't sit there and follow. That's a part of me I can't do. So I'll just be like, hey, do you guys want like GPS or something? Like, if you guys want some help with that? And what we did. So one of the things is like we opened our door and did a mastermind a couple of years ago, and like we catered it. I didn't ask anyone for $1. I invited like 20 or 30 people, investors, and a couple of my other partners that are not in SUBTO. And we came out and we just like talked about our business. We served like sandwiches and like non-alcoholic beverages for like the first half, and then we ripped it up later on. and like we opened our doors, and then we play board games at night and like just have a good old time, right? And people had a blast. And I think like we rent Airbnbs together. We all slept in the same house, right? Like they're strangers too. Like we're all community members, kind of strangers, but like I know we do those things at masterminds. I know it's getting more popular, but those were the things that we did in the beginning that I think solidified a lot of bonds. But I'll tell you, it comes with some heartache where you start to become really close. And then when one person F's up, which we've had, it caused a ripple, like a family. And we've had some, ups and downs like anywhere, but like, so it's probably, if not like you have some really cool highs in our community where we're all so tight and we're so doing the things. But then when something happens, it can go super low. and we have to climb out of that and do all the things to like repair and patch and so it can get some drama when you're like, man, we're supposed to be investors doing our thing, and like the community aspect brings life into it, mixes a little bit of business and dare I say pleasure, or much personal family. So you have to tiptoe that line, is what I'm realizing, pretty carefully, and then just collaborate. You know, every year we go to the beach. We have a beach house for once a year, and in the summertime, it's like all the leaders come on up. We're gonna hang out on the beach, and we'll plan for the next year of what we're gonna do. What can we make this community better? How can we do it? So it sounds normal to me, but I don't know if anyone's doing those things, but that's what we're doing.
I love that. That sounds like a lot of fun. For our team, we're doing a March Madness to encourage everybody to take action and like be engaged in the chats and to be making calls and all of that. And so we're saying, hey, those who are stepping up and taking action, we're going to do like a team boating trip. And it was kind of like the same thing. Like we want them to feel like a family, and like it's not just, hey, I'm making calls for you. It's like, hey, like we're all doing this together. And so I love that you're doing all of that, because I had that idea of like, let's do a boating trip and make it into like a mini mastermind as well, where like we're all getting to hang out and actually get to know each other. And I think Pace has that same idea with Squad Up, is like it's to get together and like meet each other and be face to face, because the relationship in person is so much stronger than just sending messages on Messenger or Instagram and things like that.
Yeah, and I had a tough time at those events early on, and I was like, man, how are these people all so well connected? And I struggled early on with like connecting maybe, and I would just come back and because it was my mindset. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't need anybody probably. But yeah, like now I don't go in my little thing that personally works for me. I go to these events. I'm like, give me 3 to 5 people that I'm going to meet a bunch of you, and I'm going to meet a bunch of people. But just like you, KJ, you have this little thing in your belly, maybe, or this little like, yeah, yay, nay. Same with me. I'll go, I like that person. And I put the effort in. Like that's one of my 5. And I don't try to overdo it. I don't try to go 10, 15, 20, 50, whatever that is. I can't do it. It's not my jam. And I think so that's compounded, right? And that's worked. But I love that. Boating, do it. Get outside, do the things that are uncomfortable, like where people are like, they show up by themselves, they're all timid, and you got to warm them up. You got to be like, all right, I got you. Let's go. Come on, we're doing this thing. And be the leader. And then I keep saying we have local leadership, and that was one of the different things that we did up in New England, where it's not just 2 regionals or a couple regionals like you guys have. It's local leadership too. So, and it's like tiered. And we do it that way. So it's like newcomers come in. All right, like if you're just getting into leadership, trying to get your kind of get your stripes, and you're doing a deal, maybe 2 deals, you can start to offer and help advice. But maybe, and I hate to say it, but it's true. Like we shouldn't be going, how do I do my first deal? What can I do? Tell me what to do. Although we do that a lot. You know, let's highlight you. You're a local leader, local help. Go JV with that person. I don't want that deal. You can go do it. Let's talk about other stuff. Bring the higher level stuff to us and or issues. And really, it's not like a bunch of deals. Usually problems. But we've tiered it that way. And that's my last thing I'll say. That's how we do.
Yeah, I really like that though, because it's kind of the same thought process that we have with our team, where it's structured and we have team leads that handle kind of the upfront stuff, right? Similar to what you just described. So I really like that. It's a cool way to break it down.
I didn't think about that though, for like in the community. So I like that. You drop lots of nuggets.
I know.
Yeah, cool. And like highlight those people too. And we forget our regionals. And that's the thing I wanted to say was like leaders lead. I keep saying that, guys. And it's my way of like also pushing, because some other leaders need pushing. I'm like, you're leaders. You need to lead. Like, what are we doing here? And so you got to remind these folks too sometimes, and you're grooming them to be leaders, and you got to promote them, and you got to push them and highlight them. And the other thing is, like, folks that are up and coming, let's start highlighting them. No one wants to hear about the same people at the accountability calls. No one wants to hear about your stuff. There's one dude in particular in like the Northeast. He just rattles on about his jams. No one cares, bro. Go highlight some of your people. Go bring the person who just got their first deal. Bring them up. What are you doing? So that doesn't get talked about enough. And I just can't be the one to say all the things. I can't always be the jerk.
I love that.
Hey, somebody on the team's got to do it, right?
Yeah, well, I think I'm the squeaky. I'm the one who I usually speak up a lot.
That's Joseph.
Yeah.
He's like that too.
It's gotten me into some trouble before, but that's okay.
Yeah, and you just refine it. You just learn how to refine it, I guess. But yeah,
it's a good call, man. I really enjoyed today. All right, before we end it with anything, this is a moment where I say, what are your shameless plugs, right? What are you wanting to push out? Like, where can people connect with you? All that good stuff.
For sure. No, thank you. Instagram, probably one of the best. And we're building our YouTube, starting to build a YouTube, but it's Real Estate Justin, pretty easy. Don't worry about the periods in between all the words. And yeah, I think I have a link tree that you can get a hold of me that way. But where we are currently looking for people who just want to call leads, I didn't realize that at some point it was hard to find folks who are dedicated, right? Who just want to come in and just rip leads. And we're a little higher level in our filtering process. But yeah, one of those things is like, we're looking for some talented folks to come into our community, into our camp. So that would be one of the best things I would say that we're looking for is personally for our team. I'm looking for a high-end acquisition manager or the head. We're ready to find a head person to come with us. That's going to be a hard one to find. Like, they got to mix it up with us. And that's like traveling to our houses and doing the things with us, right? So it's a good spot, but they got to click. And then it's just some community members probably to come in and rip leads if they want to get their first deal or not, or second. And they don't want to have leads to pay for a system. Like, we have everything covered. So yeah, that's it. Appreciate you letting me throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if we can do nothing but find that person to fill that spot, I mean, that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. So yeah, the honor is ours.
No, great. And so what are you guys actually doing these days? What are you doing, if you don't mind me asking? Let me reverse the questions now. Now it's part 2.
Yeah, there's a part 2.
So what does your business look like now? So I thought at one point, right, you had a team of collective of people, right? Was that it? Was it like a group of you guys collectively doing deals together?
We still are, but it might be a different group of people. I'm not sure how far back we're talking here. I'll just give you the rundown of what we're doing now. So as I mentioned, we have 2 different businesses, 2 different sides of what we're doing, which is kind of the same thing if you really think about it, but we broke it into single family and multifamily, right? Oh. So for us personally, we're only really looking for buy and hold, right, of multifamily. For a single family, that honestly, that stuff just doesn't appeal to us unless it's something like the 1700s. I mean, that's pretty cool to talk about and have, but I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So over my head for sure. But the single family team is strictly a wholesale business for us. We have other partners on there that are awesome. And I definitely agree with the sentiment that having good people is the key to success there. And it's definitely helped us elevate and scale to where we are now. We have 10 deals that we're dispoing right now just from the team and some JV opportunities and stuff like that.
So good.
That's that first half. Honestly, that's not the passion for us. Like I said, we really enjoy the multifamily side. That pays our bills, right? And that's our active income. We're good at it. We know how to do it. We've been doing it for almost 4 years now. Mm-hmm. On the other side of it, we have the multifamily business, which we have that as the acquisitions company where we're doing kind of the same exact model, right? Copy and paste of the single family team to multifamily team. And we're mostly focused on like direct to broker outreach, where the team is actually doing all the outreach, submitting the leads, comes through. We have a team, I guess you could call it like the acquisitions manager essentially, but he handles it, makes sure we have the information we need, passes it to the underwriters. They do their thing. He gets it back, and then he coordinates the calls with the broker to kind of deliver the offer and take it the rest of the way. And then it either goes into one of two places. Either it's a deal for somebody else, which we're working with a couple different select buyers. And if it's not for them and it's not for us, then we just wholesale it to somebody else. Or it's a deal for us and we take it down ourselves, which requires a bunch of due diligence, raising money, a bunch of closing stuff. Like it gets very heavily involved, but that's like the quick high level summary of the things that we're focused on right now.
So you guys probably have opportunities that are coming up all the time.
Always. Yeah.
For
We have
capital.
a couple right now that are open.
Nice.
Different things. Can't really talk about it here, but yeah, we definitely have a bunch of stuff going on for sure.
Well, are you guys just strictly Texas or like Houston? Or no?
No, Texas is definitely our bread and butter. You know, I hate to say it to you, right? I really like it, but Texas is the best, man. I gotta say it.
I can't wait to buy something there. Truly, I want to get something.
Maybe we should send you our dispo sheet. But yeah, no, Texas is not the only market that we're in. For the single family side, we're only doing markets that we have MLS access, which is now Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, and then a little bit of Tennessee as well, I think.
Sure.
And then for multifamily, pretty much anything that's a landlord-friendly state, because we are looking for ourselves, which is a little bit smaller of a buy box, but then we're also looking for those other buyers as well, and just generally good deals that we can get at a good pricing, good good terms, and then just wholesale that off. And it makes sense for us because we've done it before and we actually understand what's involved and what a good deal looks like within the multifamily space.
So smart. No, good for you for taking the big leap. And now what's like looking at like 12 doors to 50 doors? Is that like your ballpark of size of multifamily?
It really just depends. If it was in Houston, then I would say, yeah, 12 to 50 is probably a decent area where we would go. But as like a general rule of thumb for us, we're looking for 40 plus. Anything 40 plus we'll entertain, because at that level, the income the property brings in supports having a property management as well as all the other stuff that is involved with that.
Yeah. Mom and pop, typical. You're finding a lot of mom and pop, I'm sure, right?
We do, but it's not our number one lead flow, actually. Because we're doing the direct to broker, we do run into a bunch of different operators as well that they've either been in the game for a while or maybe not that long, but for whatever reason or another, they're selling off the property, and we're only looking for those creative opportunities, whether that's a straight up loan assumption or seller finance or LLC buyout or whatever it is.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, good stuff. I'd love to get into some bigger multifamily stuff. And that comes down to like, again, I'm glad you cut your teeth probably on like medium size multifamily, right? Like
we have a 40 unit, a 38 unit, and then a 30 unit.
So like 3 units, 6 units, 5 units.
We skipped all that.
Yes, like, and I respect that, and that's something I usually mention too. It's like, and not to drag it out, but rewind it back to where I was like, oh, we started like with 2 family, 3 families, and we renovated the whole thing and then did it. Cool, but I didn't even know to go to 20, 30 units. I thought, again, attainable mindset, like all the things. So super respect to you guys for being able to just get that.
Yeah, I'll say 2 things. One is it's actually easier to do the bigger ones, right? One, you're going to get a bigger discount on all of the supplies, right? Instead of just doing the 1 or 2 units. Oh, yeah. If you're doing 20 to 40, I mean, you're going to buy pretty much all the same supplies for all of them, right? Yeah. So if you have a place to store it, you can buy in bulk and just put it in storage while you're doing each turn.
Yeah.
The other thing is you don't have to do everything yourself, right? You're doing this all with partners. And that was the main thing that we had to learn to kind of figure that out. And why we were able to skip and that's the second thing I was going to say is it might have just been with a little bit of like ignorance and naiveness of just not knowing what we were getting ourselves into. But we were already like,
all in.
Yeah, we were already all in and just like pulled the trigger and just made it happen. And at that point, we're like, look, we've already told everybody we're doing this. We've already paid all this money to learn all this stuff. Like, there's no going back now.
The ships are burnt. They're not even floating anymore. So we're going this way.
Yeah.
So good. And that's the way to do it. And there's so many people who are scared to they can't even fathom doing with that. So good for you guys. Go for you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man. It was one of those moments that she was talking about where we just had our back against the wall and we figured it out, and we're still figuring things out, right? We're still, like you said, always growing.
Always. Good. And yeah, that's a little bit of a hardship too. And like, you need to be back against the wall rather than have, if we lose, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always.
We always like, every time we have our backs against the wall is like when we like hit that next level every time. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes I'm like, oh, why are we in this situation? But I'm like, our backs against the wall, like we either perform or we don't. So like we always find a way to make it happen. So
some good is coming from the other side of this. Like we're gonna have some good from this because that's the process that you're trusting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Or we learn a lesson, right? One of the two.
Yeah, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Either way. So good. Oh, well, it was so good to hear all that. And it was like I didn't know all that. So good.
Yeah. Hey, we'd love to do a deal together. Let's
we like there's some things that again talk about the levels and whatnot. It's like, all right, cool. We'll get a bunch of our small little things. We'll buy the town up, but we want to go other places, and we have stuff other places, but I can't wait. Arizona, Texas, those are on my top of my list. Montana, and different little parts, right? So cool. I can't wait to come out.
I really like Montana after community camp.
Right.
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
I think it's coming. You guys are going to April to Squad Up Summit.
We are.
Good. So, we're going to catch each other there. We were looking at our flights last night, and I can't wait to see you guys.
I'm pumped. Luckily, I've got her. She already took care of all that. We got the Airbnb, the rental car. We got everything already booked and ready.
Good for you. That's nice. We're getting there.
Yeah. Hey, if it was me, I wouldn't be doing it to the last week.
No,
before.
If it was him, he wouldn't even know about the event.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually the travel agent, but I'm actually waiting with the whole team's coming out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think we're you got to figure out. I'm like, do we be a good boy and go to the hotel, or do we go get our Airbnb?
It's so much cheaper to get the Airbnb. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I saw that, but it's all at the same time the hotel said it was booked. But I know if you call, and whatever, we'll see. I'd probably get an Airbnb, and it's still going to be a great time. And go with some intentions. I know we're going to go with some intentions. I know you will, but having some intention when you go there for what you want.
And actually, we are going with intention. Check this out. This is how you know, because we've got our 1-year-old, right? And so we bring her to pretty much all of the meetups and everything we go to for the most part. But this one, we're leaving her with my mom, but we're bringing my mom with us to Florida.
To watch her.
So she's just going to be chilling with us out there in Orlando, just doing her thing with Sailor. And that way we can both be focused on actually networking, because it's pretty difficult to network when you have a little 1-year-old running around.
And you're right. And actually, so thank yourselves for being able to do that too. Right. So in your guys, that's pretty badass. And then as she gets older, and we're going to do the same thing. We talked about whether or not we're going to we're not bringing our kids this time, but it's bringing them around what we do. And when you get to see, when my 7-year-old knows what we do, and she goes, "Oh, Dad, there's a crap house. Oh, Dad, there's a crap house." They get it, fully get it.
That's awesome.
so like that, when you get to see that too, and you get to bring them around and they understand your community and the SUBTO and all this, whatever it is at the time. That's the cool part I want you to experience.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I was just telling her earlier, I was like, man, I'm so pumped for her to just be able to start talking with us and having conversations.
Yeah.
SUBTO Drew.
He's like, I'm already there right now. I ran there.
I ran there. Yeah. That's
cool.
Funny.
Well, guys, so good.
Yeah. This was a good one, man.
I know. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll have to do it again, or this next time when I get my thing going.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to have you guys out.
Yep, and we'll have to show, or not we. She'll have to show you all of the behind the scenes. I don't do any of this. I tell everyone I just show up to these and just have a conversation.
You show up, you just like cause chaos, start kicking the table, and little pre warm up joke.
Yeah, that's
funny. Awesome stuff, guys, and I'm so happy for you. Let's communicate at Squad Up. Can't wait to see you there. And yeah, any deals, anything that comes up, or anytime you guys need any help, collaboration, whatever. Obviously, I think same with Andrew, the line of communication and like a collaboration between our communities. We're going to try to make that stronger. So yeah, maybe we have you guys even like on an accountability call, come in for an hour, tell people what you're looking for, tell people what you're doing. I'd like to probably extend that olive branch out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So be on the lookout for, some sort of invite, and we'll try to make it so maybe at the end of the night, when your daughter goes to bed, like either one of you guys, both of you, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, we'd love that. That would be fun.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be long.
Yeah, we can have you come on ours too. On the Houston.
Yeah. As long as the Texans they're okay with them Yankees.
We might have to overlook that.
Yeah, like I'll put a cowboy hat on that day.
Then I think you'll get through no problem.
I'm fixing to smell a rat. That was my Texas joke.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It was a really great conversation, and like I said, we're honored to have you on, man. You're a SUBTO celebrity, so
no, he's just super nice to me. No, you guys are great. Love hearing your names. Love seeing everybody and solidifying I'll give you one secret. I'll give you one secret that Pace told me.
Another nugget. Let's go.
I don't know what nuggets, if you got any out of it tonight, but one thing he said to me is like, I should, that's okay. He's looking for his squad, and I know there's a lot of us in this community, but the one thing that like it aligns with my vision, it aligns naturally with just, I guess, my demeanor and who I am as a human. Mm-hmm. So that's easy, right? There's no real trying for it, but he's looking for his like knights at the round tables. He's looking for his community to run the community. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So, I like that the Andrews, you guys, there's certain members out there who get it. And I think at some point in the years to come, it's going to be more and more solidified and filtered, right? And we're going to have like the pulp that didn't make through the strainer, right? Everything else fell through that strainer. And we're all going to be, probably doing a lot more business together and a lot more collaboration, a lot more like private, probably tighter, right? Mm-hmm. Because of that. So I don't know if that was a nugget anyone cared or if you cared, but that's sort of like the cool thing about where you guys are too. So respect that.
Love that.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Definitely a little secret sauce to add at the end. It was good. You were holding out on us, man.
I guess. I don't know. I was holding the pins. That was the one thing. That was the only thing I was holding.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right. Appreciate you guys so much.
Definitely.
Have a great night.
You as well, Justin. Thank you so much. We're going to hit a little outro for you. He said, bye, guys.